Look at these guys walking arm in arm. They're just laughing. Wow, every single day here. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. Today we've got Chrystia Freeland unveiling some crazy plan to take on Donald Trump. She is going to get us in big trouble here in Canada. We've got some new polling numbers from 2 different sources. We got a whole bunch of other stuff here. Let's jump into this. First up, we got federal polling data here coming from Abacus data from January 22nd to 26th here, the past 4 days. And what do you know? This doesn't line up with the Ecos poll or the Main Street Media poll. So you can see Conservatives here, 43% as per usual. Liberals at 22, 19 for the NDP, about the same. As someone pointed out, look at the gains coming from the PPC to the Green Party. Elizabeth May must be sharing some of her stumbling juice with people. Next up, we got this one here. This is coming from Angus Reid. So this is an interesting poll. It shows voter intention based on which leader. So Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney. What's most notable about this is very typical of what we've been seeing, 44% Conservatives, this one 43%. But look at this number here, 24% for Liberals, 17% for the NDP. If we jump here, a bunch of the NDP voters, if Mark Carney is the leader, they jump ship and go to the Liberals at 29%. So people remembered that Chrystia Freeland was part of Justin Trudeau's reign of terror that has destroyed Canada. This does not bode well for Jagmeet Singh and the NDP. There's other numbers in here, more typical stuff you would see per region. Alberta, 65% Conservative. Atlantic Canada, 44% Bloc here. So in Quebec, across the board here, around 45% for Conservatives. We've got Pierre Poilievre giving a speech calling for deportation of the bad guys in Canada. Love to hear it.
Now they're up 251%, with Jews being the principal victims of those crimes. We must not just condemn these things, we must take action against them. We must deport from our country any temporary resident that is here on a permit or a visa that is carrying out violence or hate crimes on our soil. It was obscene that the IRGC remained legal in Canada for 4 years after it killed 55 of our citizens in the attack on PS Flight 752. It is outrageous that 700 IRGC officials are on Canadian soil, many of them living the lap of luxury on the fruits that they stole from their own people. And we must condemn when our own government gives grants for anti-racism to people like Leif Maruth, or appoints Birju Datani to head up the Canadian Human Rights Commission. We must stand up against these outrages and stand for bringing our people together.
Next up, we got Liberal MP Jamie Baptiste here, says he's treated like a celebrity when he goes to the grocery store. People are giving him a thumbs up. People are shaking hands and wanting to take pictures with me. This is disgusting. This is just like Justin Trudeau. This guy doesn't come out with anything since announced he's running. Has anyone else seen anything? I haven't seen anything. But then this comes out, a narcissistic self-indulgence quote. There, let's go onto his account and see what he's doing here. Yeah, this is the 22nd. He's posted nothing since. Absolutely nothing. How is he planning on winning? This is ridiculous. Meanwhile, we got Ruby Dalla here also calling for deportation of 500,000 people.
There are over 500,000 illegal immigrants in Canada. This is unacceptable. As the daughter of immigrant parents, I know firsthand that immigrants have helped build our great country. But we must clamp down on human trafficking and those that are here illegally. As your Prime Minister, I promise you, I will deport every illegal immigrant in Canada.
The timing of her showing up with all these conservative values is very suspicious. You know you're in Canada, right? Not the US. The Liberals won't let her win. So this is going to get really interesting here. Meanwhile, we got Chrystia Freeland. Take a look at this nutcase. Here's my plan to protect the Canadian economy from Donald Trump. Immediately publish a detailed dollar-for-dollar retaliation list for consultation. Same thing they've been already saying. This one here, look at this. Immediately convene a summit and form an international coalition with Mexico, Denmark, Panama, and the EU. This is not going to end well. She wants to create some force against America. We're connected to America. We're intertwined with them. Direct all federal government agencies to stop purchasing any goods from American companies. Block American companies from bidding on Canadian federal procurement contracts, excluding defense. And prioritize Canadian companies. Ban American firms, including American-based branches and international firms, from all projects funded by the federal government. Defend Canada's cultural sector artists from Donald Trump's billionaire buddies. This is all very aggressive. This one here, though, you're going to piss off Donald Trump with this. Create a coalition to go against Donald Trump. This is basically calling for a battle with America, a battle with Trump. This is insane. Canada would benefit from fixing borders and immigration loopholes and dismantling the street candy labs. Just saying. Exactly. Just do what he wants. Fix up the street fennel situation. Strengthen the border. Like, what is this? Exactly. Secure the border. You serious? Trudeau resigned. He's still polling higher than you. Have you lost your mind? I was kind of hoping Donald Trump would protect us from people like you. Chrystia Freeland's plan to tank the Canadian economy. Start a trade war with the most powerful country on earth, which also happens to be Canada's closest ally. No kidding. Are you not listening? We need a secure border. This is getting out of hand. What's also out of hand is Mark Carney, who's actually starting to put up some media, unlike all the other Liberal leadership candidates. And this stuff's just cringe. Just bromance with Francois Philippe Champagne. Okay, I don't know if we can have that music in there, but look at these guys walking arm in arm. They're just laughing. There's just smiles all around. This is just, come on. Like, look at this. They go to a hockey game. They're like, yeah, we can go to a hockey game. And look at this. They got to get a shot of Carney cheering. This is so cringe. There it is. He's sitting. Yeah, he pumps the fist. Yeah, that must mean he's Canadian. Yeah. Oh, come on. No one's believing this, Carney. You're fake AF. Exactly. The first comment coming from Right Blend. You want to destroy farms and farmers, you lying liar. Taxing them to death. Any farmers that support Liberals are killing their farms and lives, seek their livelihood. As if we don't see you, your contempt, your disdain for us. You know that we will not be fooled. Was Chandra threatening to your democracy? American firm employing Mark Carney's wife receives huge contracts from Government of Canada. She's a part of, what's it called? The Eurasia group or whatever it's called. Next up, I want to showcase this story. Only in Trudeau's Canada, soon to be Carney's Canada, we have this here. So this is an event here. The Bennett Bridge in Kelowna was shut down because this suspicious vehicle was parked there and suspected to bam the bridge into bits. What has our country become when our bridges are potentially going to get whammy blammed into smithereens? You can see here it was a whole thing. The bridge has been shut down for a while. I'm not sure if it's up and running again. I'm sure it probably is now. They towed this vehicle out of there, it looks like. Next up, we got this one coming from Cat Canada. It says Quebec separatists gain lead over current ruling party and plans to hold a sovereignty referendum after forming government. That's right. This madness is coming back here. So this one's on the counter signal. Quebec Independence Party is leading in the provincial polls. We can see that right here. So here's their polling going on. Next provincial general election is scheduled to take place October 5th, 2026. If PQ wins, they will host a referendum asking Quebecers if they want to separate from Canada and their own independent state, nation state. This is just out of hand again. If we don't have enough problems in Canada, we got this nonsense going on. Current polling puts support for independence at around 40%, which is similar to the pre-referendum polls in 1995 when Quebec chose to remain with Canada by the slimmest of margins. The independence vote earned 49.42%. I think Quebec really needs to take a look in the mirror at what this really means. Shall we bring up the equalization payments graph again? 13.6 billion coming from these provinces. There's tons of minerals and natural resources and all this, and it would be devastating to Canada, but it's like the bills are being paid from over here. I thought this was interesting to point out here. So as he's posted here, jokes aside, Chandra Arya is actually the most relatively conservative candidate of the Liberal leadership race. Ruby Dalla would be up there too. But if we look at Chandra Arya here, you know, he just got kicked out of the Liberal leadership race, supports abolition of the monarchy, seeks to lead a small, more efficient government, opposes diversity, equity, and inclusion quotas, proposes taxing expatriate citizens, would remove carbon pricing supports recognizing Palestine as a state. Now, obviously, Chandra Arya was rocking the boat there, probably had too many people signing up and supporting the guy. They had to get rid of him because they don't like to run a fair race for the Liberal leadership race there. But I have a feeling this race is going to get dirtier and dirtier, and we haven't seen the end of it. So next up, we got this one posted on the Pleb here. It says, newcomer truck driver has been texting and driving causes massive crash in Toronto. Should he be deported? So you can see he's texting. He's not paying attention. These cars are stopped. And, oh, this is brutal. Like full speed. I'm not sure what the situation is with that person, that car, if they're toast or not. Like, this has got to be a serious offense. I got this one here. This is the car totaled. I don't know if that person survived. They did. Their neck is not going to be in good shape. 30% of accidents in Ontario are caused by drivers distracted by phone use. I like to see the following: one strike, you're out for new drivers, mandated winter driving training, tax write-offs for winter tires. These are good ideas. Next up, we got Donald Trump calling to abolish federal income tax in the United States. That's right, abolishing federal income tax.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887. And this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in.
So let's take a look at that graph. So he's talking about this graph here, and basically you can see all the tariffs in here, and then it drops right down to here, and this is basically from like 1948, so 1970s is right here, and then just like there's almost no tariffs for the last 50 years. And so he's looking at all of this, and I guess this is part of his strategy to make America rich. There's this one here, which is interesting, shows the countries tariffs applied. So 16% here is this dark one, Chad, as well as Gabon. And places like Brazil, 8%, Bahamas, 18%, Mexico, 4%, Canada, 0.8%. So yeah, a lot of tariffs around the world. That's interesting.
It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887. And what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money, and that was all made through tariffs. As we had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
And in Canada, we've got Justin Trudeau taxing us into oblivion and destroying our country. Quite the opposite. Income tax is a parasitic leech on our citizens. Speaking of tariffs, we've got this one here. This is each state's biggest export trading partner. So all this purple one here, Canada. The blue ones are China, Switzerland. Mexico is this pinky red, Hong Kong, and Brazil. Australia here for Hawaii. And we got France and Belgium. But very interesting, Hong Kong and Switzerland. Those are the ones that really stand out. We got some more crazy news coming out of America here. Donald Trump on his jet talking with, I believe, the leader of Egypt. He's trying to get people out of Gaza and go to Egypt or Jordan. He's trying to get those two countries' leaders to take more people so they can clear out Gaza and clean it up. Really, they're probably trying to clean the whole place out, and then they'll never give it back. That's most likely what will happen here.
I said to him, I'd love you to take on more, because I'm looking at the whole Gaza Strip right now, and it's a mess. It's a real mess.
Those comments coming from U.S. President Donald Trump while speaking with reporters regarding his latest conversation with the King of Jordan.
I'd like Jordan to house people from Gaza. To take people. I'd like Egypt to take people. I'm talking to General El-Sisi tomorrow, sometime, I believe. And I'd like Egypt to take people, and I'd like Jordan to take people. You're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing.
The president saying he plans to speak with Egyptian officials Monday about moving more than 1 million Palestinians from Gaza into neighboring countries.
Something has to happen, but it's literally a demolition site right now. Almost everything's demolished, and people are dying there. So I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing in a different location where they can maybe live in peace.
These comments marking a stunning proposal from a sitting U.S. president.
This is really going to stir up controversy, but in the long run, this will probably have more peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis.
One that has already sparked condemnation, including from Jordan's foreign minister.
Our stance that the two-state solution is the path to achieving peace is firm and unchanging. Our rejection of displacement is also firm and unchanging. This is not only a steadfast and unwavering position of the kingdom, but it is also a necessity for achieving the security, stability, and peace that we all desire.
Conflict analysts are also weighing in.
I think that the Palestinians in Gaza and in the West Bank and everywhere, together with the Jordanians and the Egyptians, will definitely reject this proposal, and I don't think that there is a place in reality for such an idea.
And Palestinians in Gaza are voicing their thoughts on the comments, saying exactly that.
The call by the U.S. president is completely rejected. Completely. The Palestinian people firmly believe that this land is theirs. This soil is their soil.
Got the leader of Jordan calling for a two-state solution. I don't think the Palestinians, I don't have to say it. The Palestinians don't want a two-state solution. They've stated that themselves. So what is the solution here?
Israel has not yet officially responded to Trump's suggestions. However, sources say an Israeli official has called the proposal, quote, not a slip of the tongue, but rather a part of a much broader move coordinated with Israel. If Trump were to move forward with his suggested plans, it would break with decades of U.S. foreign policy, which has long emphasized a two-state solution.
This place is destroyed. It really does need to be cleared out. You can't be living under this. One day this is just going to collapse and people are going to get flattened. This whole geopolitical situation over there is just an absolute mess. How has this become Trump's decision to make? Because he commands the most powerful army on planet Earth, that's why, and has the most money to do stuff. Decades of failure of US and Middle Eastern policy, try something new. That is a good point. Maybe this does work out better. If there's places away from the Israelis, the Palestinians can live in peace. Maybe they can find a new home where they both win. As you can see in the clip there, they want that land. That is their home. They don't want to give it up. So what happens here? With Chrystia Freeland coming out with this plan, this insane plan, is it far-fetched now to suggest that the Liberals are trying to provoke Donald Trump? It really seems like it. Somehow I feel like things are going to get worse here in Canada before things get better.